And also breaking tonight, you may have heard, Gavin Newsom, now the governor-elect, current lieutenant governor, former mayor of San Francisco, leading, as we know right now, with 55% of the vote. John Cox, a San Diego businessman and attorney, trailing behind with 45%. But tonight, Gavin Newsom declared the winner.
And first elected in 1992, re-elected for 5 times, Democrat Dianne Feinstein will keep her seat in the Senate. As you take a look at the numbers there, her win today over Kevin De Leon.
And 2 congressional races are still too close to call tonight in the 25th Congressional District. Katie Hill, a political newcomer, and Steve Knight, an incumbent who is seeking his 3rd term tonight, neck and neck at 50 and 50.
And first elected and back in 1989, Dana Rohrabacher in a fight. This is a toss-up and could go either way. As you take a look at the numbers there, the 48th District, Dana Rohrabacher and Harley Ruda. He is a first-time candidate, locked at 50-50 at this hour.
Well, we'll have much more on all those races ahead, but first, let's go live to KCAL 9 political reporter Dave Bryant.
That's right, he's live at Governor-elect Gavin Newsom's campaign headquarters in downtown with the very latest. Dave?
That's right. We're expecting the governor-elect soon. We believe will be here any minute now to give his acceptance speech. Right now, the new First Lady of California is speaking, introducing him. This comes after a swift victory tonight by Gavin Newsom, and we were told by his campaign manager that he will work with the Trump administration if they can work in a cooperative fashion. He wants to work on issues where they have things in common, but of course he also, during the campaign, ran in many respects against President Trump, so he should be here momentarily. We're waiting for him to come out. Now, during the campaign, Gavin Newsom said that he respects the office of the president, but has problems, of course, very serious problems, that he ran as kind of the anti-Trump, which went over well in California. Not a big surprise. What are his points that he wants to make in terms of what he will do as governor? Number one, he says, is attacking the outstanding, just skyrocketing prices of housing in California. I think we're getting ready to see him. Here he comes right now.
Still awake, and I'm honored that you took the time to be here. And look, the votes, goes without saying, the votes are still being counted, and clearly your voices are still being heard. But a few minutes ago, I received a very generous call from John Cox. Thank you. We congratulated each other on a hard-fought race, and now I want to congratulate each and every one of you. Because you stood for courage for a change. And now I can stand before you knowing I will have the incredible privilege of serving as your next governor. But this victory is really your victory. Because of you, the future belongs to California. It's been a tough 2 years, but tonight, America's biggest state is making the biggest statement in America. We're saying unmistakably and in unison that it's time to roll the credits on the politics of chaos and the politics of cruelty. Now is time for going far and going together. Now is the time for decency, for facts, for trust, and now is the time for truth. Now is time for leaders to lead. And to those agents of anger determined to divide us instead of unite us, it's time to pack it up and for you to pack it in. This, in every way, shape, or form, is California's moment. And to those who wonder whether polarization is permanent, who think today's big dreams are tomorrow's broken promises, who question whether a 40 million person melting pot of different faiths, different families and futures can live and prosper together. California is your answer. The sun is rising in the west, and the arc of history is bending in our direction. Because this is not just a state of resistance. California is a state of results. California is America's coming attraction, a rocket-fueled engine of human industry and innovation, the nation's greatest job creator, and the 5th largest economy in the world. But the true genius of California isn't the value we work for, it's the values we fight for. This is a state where, we don't criminalize diversity, we celebrate diversity. We don't reject, we protect the most vulnerable. We don't put profit and loss ahead of clean air. We don't put profit and loss ahead of clean water and clean coastlines. We don't regulate a woman's body more than we regulate assault weapons on our streets. We don't demean, we don't discriminate, and we don't demoralize. We don't separate families, and we don't lock kids in cages. At our best, we always stand up, we step in, and we fight for what's right. See, there's a reason why California's dream is America's leading brand. Because California's dream has always been and always will be too big to fail and too powerful to bully. And here's the thing. The California dream, it's not binary. Every day we show how human endeavor can be both lucrative and inclusive. They aren't mutually exclusive. We don't just want success in the right hands, we want it in everybody's hands. But let's be honest, there's no doubt about this, the dream is still too distant for too many. We're a land of plenty, but we are far from perfect. Too many Californians are being priced out of housing, of health care, and higher education. Too many workers are feeling the ever-tightening squeeze of automation and wage stagnation. Too many children are growing up in poverty and starting school from behind. In many ways, in many places, we are simultaneously the richest and the poorest state. But after traveling California from region to region in a bus fueled by perpetual optimism, I'm more convinced than ever there's no problem in California that isn't somehow, somewhere being solved by a Californian. That's what Californians do, right? We're the most diverse state in the world's most diverse democracy. Californians by birth, Californians by choice, every generation overcoming every conceivable border and bias, all part of the same journey to ascend and succeed together. Over our own journey in the course of this campaign, I've seen it in the hopeful faces of many. I've heard it in their indelible personal stories. I've seen it in the donut store owner in Garden Grove beaming with pride because his daughter was the first in their family to attend college. I've seen it in Miss Jackie, the union home care worker in Lancaster, who dedicates her life to helping other human beings live their final days in dignity. I've seen it in Greg, an heroic homeless veteran just a few weeks back, after years and years of struggle with addiction, has found a new path thanks to treatment and job training. And I've seen it in the bravery of Elizabeth, an 8-year-old girl in Fresno who raised her hand at my town hall and asked not about herself, but what she can do to protect her friends in the case of a school shooting. This is what this campaign's all about. It's about advancing all Californians on their journey by making this a place of equality, making California a place of opportunity, safety, and affordability for everyone. We can make their dream real, but only if we have the courage of our convictions, the courage to dream bigger and demand more, the courage to be a state of results and a state of refuge. I've listened and I've learned from Californians of every walk of life, because I know that starting tomorrow, the hard work truly begins. But tonight, I'm just overwhelmed with gratitude, and I'm humbled. I'm humbled to accept this awesome responsibility, because I know what we can accomplish working together, transforming the politically impossible into the practically inevitable. There are so many stars, so many California stars in this room tonight, too many to name, too many to enumerate. But I want to take a moment, a personal privilege, and mention just a few who've shined brightest for me when I needed the most, starting with my wife, Jen, a real-life Wonder Woman. Jen, who fights every day for a world where children can live free of stereotype and social inequality while being the incredible mother of our 4 remarkable children. To all my friends and family who have been there for me, many dating back to the not-so-distant days as a struggling kid with an undiagnosed reading disorder and an especially bad haircut. I still have dyslexia, and Lord knows the jury's still out on the hair. But because of their urging and unconditional support, I grew up with the audacity to think I could make a difference and the humility to know I couldn't do it alone. And as always, politics is a team sport. And I want to thank my campaign team, the best in the business. Thank you guys. As well as the incomparable army of the grassroots supporters, organizers, all those texters who were the lifeblood of this campaign. You know who you are. Thank you for your great work. I also, because I've seen so many of them, I want to thank and salute all the state legislators who are here and every public servant elected across this state tonight. We're going to serve in different branches of government, but we share the same California name on the front of our jerseys. You know, there's a famous quote, all of you know this, that we should not go where the path may lead. Don't go there, but instead go where there's no path and leave a trail. For literally my entire life, Governor Jerry Brown has been blazing his trail as a pioneer of progress for this state. He's been a role model for me, and tonight we all owe him a profound debt of gratitude. Thank you, Governor Jerry Brown. Remarkable leadership. Robert Kennedy, I thought, always said it best. He said, "Few will have the greatness to bend history itself. But each of us can work to change a small portion of events, and the total of those acts will be written the history of this generation." As Californians, we've been granted the extraordinary opportunity to write history's next chapter, and the extraordinary obligation to help every Californian write their own California story, even from the darkest of circumstances. Just last week in Merced, I met an extraordinary young man by the name of Joshua, who's writing his own story. He said to me, "I can't vote for you. I was born in Mexico. I came here with my mom after my father passed away, and I watched her work 3 jobs as a cook to support me. I worked as a community service officer," he said, "at Merced Police Department to pay his own way through college." And he said he's about to graduate with a UC degree. Joshua's also a dreamer who spent every waking day over the past year worrying if his dream was coming to an end. But he said, "Gavin, I can't vote for you, but I want you to know I'm okay. I'm okay because I'm a Californian." That's what California means to Joshua. That's what California means to the world. Now it's our turn to spend our waking days protecting that dream for every Californian. Thank you, California. Thank you all very much for being here tonight. God bless you, and the best is yet to come. Thank you all very, very much for being here tonight.
He is projected to win. Call him Governor-elect Gavin Newsom, saying that America's biggest state making the biggest statement tonight, going far and going together. He also said, Susie, not a state of resistance, a state of results.
Out there with his family tonight, current Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom in the race, wins the race, projected to win the race actually, to replace Governor Jerry Brown, who he talked about, who is almost termed out now, serving 4 terms non-consecutively since 1975. And now to San Diego, where Republican John Cox just conceded to Newsom.
And KCAL's Crystal Cruz is live at the election party there with the very latest. Crystal?
Hi, you guys. Yeah, John Cox did give his concession speech. He said he called Gavin Newsom. He offered his well wishes. He said he also offered him some assistance because, according to Cox, he is going to need it because, according to Cox, this state is in bad shape. Let's listen to a little bit of that his concession speech.
I called the lieutenant governor, and I wished him well. I wished him well, and I offered my assistance because he's going to need a lot of help. This state needs a lot of help.
Wakes up tomorrow and looks at the newspaper.
Back out here live, you can see behind us a lot of Yes on 6 supporters behind us. They are very excited tonight, but basically John Cox gave his concession speech and we saw him leave with his family, and he is most likely gone for the night.